Have you ever found yourself running with something, and in the process of running with it, finding out that what you have to tell is possibly flawed, with only partial information that has data left out of it that you wish you had? Then consider this. The clear, crisp, late fall twilight was filled with excitement as our Pathfinder Club gathered. The mixture of new kids with those of former years, along with the dynamic new couple installed as leaders, promised a new era of progress. Our church had experienced a recent substantial growth in membership and attendance following a field school of evangelism. Many of the adults and the kids present today for this kickoff to the fall Pathfinder schedule were part of the new group. Today's event was to be an exciting horse-drawn hayride on the sprawling grounds of a nearby military base. Arrangements had been made with the caretaker of a stable of beautiful, large horses used by the military brass of that base to hitch the horses to a huge wagon filled with hay, children, and adults. My wife Patty and our 3 children joined the group. While I stayed behind by watching a sports event on TV, I was still recovering from an exhausting Sabbath the day before. My respite was broken by the premature arrival of the returning group, the parsonage being adjacent to the church parking lot. Chaos had developed. Everyone was talking to me at once. The kids were super excited and the parents were steaming mad. The driver of the wagon and the horses had been proceeding along with his singing, laughing, and whatever else was going on in a hayride entourage across the fields of the base. They were now on a narrow trail with a tall hill on the left and on their right marked by a paved road down below, 15 feet below. Suddenly, military vehicles appeared on the road below. The military police had started shouting and barking orders to up above from the windows of their vehicles, ordering the hayride driver to halt, that they were in a restricted area. The driver ignored them. They then screamed the order up via motorized megaphones, threatening the driver with swift military justice if he did not comply soon. The entourage got increasingly louder as the driver began to jog back and forth with the MPs down below. They then set off their sirens and flashing lights, causing the already spooked horses to go into a panic. Now they were rearing up. They were dancing and yanking the wagon with the 50 passengers, mostly children, from side to side, being jostled against each other. And as the wagon jerked and rocked back and forth on the edge of the 15-foot drop-off of the road below, things finally got settled down as they arrested the driver right in front of all the kids, taking control of the skittish horses and getting everyone back to their vehicles and sending them all home. Now, before me, the kids were all fired up with eye-popping expressions and sparkling verbiage, as if they'd actually been a part of the real Wild West adventure with Don Knotts in charge. The adults were incensed by the stupidity of the MPs and the danger the kids had been subjected to. How and why would someone in their right mind use sirens and flashing lights to get horses to halt? I, as a pastor, must do something about it. All agreed to that. Patty and I talked after all had gone their way to share the story, while Kevin and Brian and Wendy had all talked themselves out about the evening's activities with perhaps a little hyperbole. I determined as a pastor to do something about this debacle. resolving to go to the commander of that base with my concern and my complaint. Patty talked to me of her fear for the safety of all concerned. She also informed me that there had been much verbal abuse from our group directed toward the MPs, particularly from the driver as well as from one of our most recent converts, that was actually unnecessary and, well, not exactly kosher Adventist language. I brushed it off with deep appreciation as to why anyone would not get upset in circumstances like that. The next day, I dressed up with a full load of righteous indignation with spit-shine shoes, and I headed for the military base, where I obtained a meeting with the colonel in charge of the base, along with the lieutenant in charge of the livery personnel and the horses. And upon my presentation over the incompetence of these soldiers, and with a hint of public disclosure by radio and TV, they made contact with the MPs involved and gathered their version of events. And needless to say, I received a profound apology from all on behalf of the United States Army, to my church, to the parents of all the children, and to all concerned. However, the testimony given was not so complimentary to the group that I spoke for, nor of me. It seems that the hayride had ventured on to the restricted area of the base. They were in the ordnance section with live ammunition stored all over the place. It was posted with signs and blocked by the props across the road. And the driver of the horses, wagon, and kids and adults left the road, guiding the group around the blockade and across the fields, proceeding along with his entourage. Upon interception by the MPs, the hayride driver had ignored them. He had cursed them. He had spit down upon them. And he was joined by an adult on the wagon that swore and screamed profanities at them down below. It was dawning on me that what the group had conveniently left out and not told me, and what Patty had been patiently trying to tell me the night before. The commanding officer offered to launch an official investigation and commence charges against the MPs. I suspected that the church member involved in the verbal assault was the husband of a female soldier assigned to the very building where they were now listening patiently to my complaint. I apologize to all concerned and stated I was satisfied and no other action need to be taken, that no other communication need to take place between the base and me. Leaving that day with my countenance sagging and my eyes gazing down at my spit-shine shoes, I left. I did have a prolonged conversation with the soldier's husband and other adults involved. And oh yes, I took Patty out to eat with the knowledge that she would be listened to and conferred with before my next escapade. How embarrassing to find yourself out on a limb with a narrative that you carry that leaves you vulnerable to not being totally in tune with the whole truth. Your lyrics, which have seemed to you to sound so good and harmonizing with right and wrong, are shown to be lacking of the certain information that you need to have had if you were going to tell the story. Perhaps the rest of the story was staring you in the face, and your personal bias blinded you to the whole story. Or could it be that someone with their own bias, with an axe to grind, has so conveniently left out data that would cause you to be not so quick to carry that story on to other people? Could it be possible that you ran right by information? You ran right through a number of caution lights, even maybe a flashing red light or two, because you were so energized by the desire to right a wrong? Was there someone trying to give you the lacking data and you were closed to it? Crucial to our functioning as Christians and a church body is to be somebody who is responsible to be trusted when operating by the principle of what is right and wrong. There is always continual effort by others to influence us and to increase their own influence and to see it the way they do by their affiliation with us. There are those, and I dare say that all of us have been guilty of this, who will give only part of a story while conveniently leaving out data that would dilute their narrative or possibly even refute it. We all are subject to manipulation by others and by events and situations that come our way as a body. There is a possibility that we might judge others and develop in situation by these attempts, both consciously and unconsciously. Does our integrity, does our ministry as individual Christians and in the body to and for others get flawed in processes like this? Perhaps the conveniently left out data might have given us a different perspective. And we might have been actually in harmony with the action taken by the one talked about. There are those situations that could and should be approached differently than they are now presently approached. We do know this for sure, that the longer we stay around a situation, the more we discover the other side of the pancake. Many times, the die can be cast, the situation settled in concrete, and our ability to function therapeutically with others be compromised. Now, folks, this is just telling it like it is, and we all know it. Let us be doubly careful how we handle the verbiage that it is our lot to hear. Be sure. Be Christian. Be smart. Be fair. After all, wouldn't it be wonderful if others would function that way with what is said about us?
Through me, Holy Spirit, touch through me. Let my hands reach out to others, touch through me. There's a lonely soul somewhere, just one friend to care. Touch through me, Holy Spirit, touch through me. Love through me, Holy are bleeding deep inside, love can dry their weeping eyes. Love through me, Holy Spirit, love through me. Flow through me, Holy Spirit, flow through me. Like a river in the desert, flow through me. Springing fountains, healing streams, healing waters pure and clean, flow through me, Holy Spirit, flow through me. My hands will be your hands, reaching out to others. My lips will not be slothful, Lord, to speak. I'll be a good Samaritan to someone else in need. I will be your house to dwell